another FYI Spotlight. I'm Tammy Neely. Today I'm joined by lifestyle influencer Diana Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I was reading on your blog, the About Me section. You call yourself an accidental blogger. I love that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I started as a wedding photographer, and so my blog was really just my photography. And I added more words, and I just, I didn't shoot weddings all the time. So I needed to have content. So I would just kind of integrate some of my life in there. And they weren't great photos either. It would really be like an iPhone photo with like a terrible Instagram filter back in the day.
Yep.
And I just kept doing it. And it just came natural to me. I have a BA in journalism and I just love to write. So I just kept doing that, sharing things, and companies would reach out, ask me to review things. Sure, I'll use a air fryer, try it out.
Yeah.
And made content and just kept doing it for fun, not because I saw potential for money, because there wasn't any money in it yet. And I just kept doing it. And then here I am completely, I didn't work towards this. I mean, I do work hard, but this wasn't a goal that I had.
Yep. So you talk about you have a degree in journalism. What were you doing as you started this blog before you pivoted to this being full-time?
So I moved to Los Angeles after I graduated, and I worked for entertainment as a ghostwriter, a red carpet writer. So I would do like the television red carpets, because there's always like 10 red carpets going on in LA every night. And I would interview and do a little write-up for my boss who was on air. And then I moved here for the Arizona Republic and did some editorial styling, more fashion. I was kind of always into the fun journalism.
Yeah.
And moved into marketing before I started the blog.
And so what year did the blog start?
It's been 10 years now.
Okay.
When I started photography, so around the same, so it's over 10 years. But it just transitioned from a photography blog into, I guess, more of a lifestyle blog, personal blog.
Yeah. So again, going back to being an accidental blogger, I think that's where so much of your authenticity comes from, is that you didn't set out with this goal of saying, I'm going to be a blogger, I'm going to have this many followers by this day, this is what my content is going to be shaped like. It felt natural to you and authentic, and I think having reviewed so much of your content before this interview, that's what's, I think, so appealing to so many brands, is your authenticity and that you are who you are. And it's not like I'm going to see one post about X one day and Z the next, and they don't really mash up. Like, no, this is who Diana is. How does that feel to you, to put yourself out there that way?
I think it's important that everything that I do, that I enjoy. And that's kind of my word for 2020 is just enjoy and make sure, because I think it's easy to get lost into the numbers, into the pressures that brands put. And I understand that. I think it's, without numbers, marketing, you want to know your return on investment. But it's when I relieve myself of those expectations, I'm able to produce content that I enjoy, and in return I'm attracting the right kind of following, or people are dropping off, and that's fine, because I want people to absorb the content and be excited about it. So it keeps me grounded and makes me enjoy my job, because if I want longevity and I want to just enjoy what I do, I need to make sure that I'm vetting those things, what jobs come in.
Yep. So you talked about your following, and you've grown your following over the years, obviously. What do your followers mean to you? What does engagement, how the conversations you have with them, what does that look like?
I love doing polls on my Instagram stories. I think that they have really good opinions and they have a good eye, because I trust them. If we're kind of in the same boat of like style, I want feedback on what color should I paint this? Should I paint this bedroom? Should I even do this peach tree, or should I do a pomegranate tree? And they'll DM me and be like, just so you know, pomegranate trees aren't like that pretty. So I love that my following they're excited. They tell me all the time, they're like, every day I just want to see what's going on with your home expansion. And it's like watching an HGTV channel. So I'm glad that they're as excited as I am.
When these followers of yours are DMing you and they're saying, maybe this pomegranate tree doesn't look so pretty when it's full grown, how do your conversations back and forth with them shape up?
I think it's like a friend. Like, I want to be, all my posts and blog posts included, to be the conversations that you have with girlfriends. And a lot of the conversations that I do have with my girlfriends end up being blog posts or taken to my social media. The likes, here's how I describe my following, is they're similar to me. We all have lives. So we're really not on the platform for 4 hours a day.
Right.
I don't really want the following that's totally glued to their phone, because there's things to discover, there's just life to do. So I know my following, when they do show up, they engage and they're quick on it, and they talk to me, maybe not necessarily in a post, but on stories or through DMs. And that's what I value, is I don't need them to necessarily like everything, but I'm seeing my numbers in an Instagram story, and those are the ones that want to see. Because the algorithm, who knows? Sometimes they just don't show people, not because, for whatever reason. And so I don't want to put that pressure or think negatively about my following because it didn't get enough likes, because I'm not in control of that. And I don't think they really are either, whether or not they're on the platform. But for stories, they look for me, and there's only like, 3 spots at the top. So that's where I value the eyeballs.
Okay. So you've worked with a handful of brands on sponsored content. Walk me through, what does the ideal campaign look like for you? Not necessarily what is the product or the brand. What is that communication that works best for you from the brand? They have to give you some parameters, but still let you use your voice, right?
Yes. The ones that are the most successful to me are ones that are outlined pretty thoroughly. Give me the hashtags, give me the bullet points, but also give me the freedom to create. I don't mind giving drafts beforehand. That's fine, because I know for legal, sometimes that's important, especially with like electronics, tech, things like that. But I like the freedom where they'll say, you don't have to be in it, or you can be in it, whatever you feel that your audience resonates with. I think when there's too many constraints, I get a little, I just don't feel creative. But I don't mind examples at the same time. So I think there's a fine line between knowing why you hire an influencer and letting them do those things, to, if you want the content created yourself, then just tell them exactly what you need.
Yep. So when it comes to your blog, there are some creators, influencers watching today who likely don't have a blog. What advice would you give them? Because there really is value in a blog. How do you even get that started? What would you recommend?
Any content you create for your Instagram, just put it on the blog, but more words.
Yeah.
I mean, the new thing with Instagram is having longer captions that are like mini blogs. And I've seen we're just so inundated with just so much information. We're overloaded. And some people only have time for Instagram. It's hard to kind of convince people to get off a certain platform and go to another platform. But I love that my following will still read my blog. Maybe not all of them, but that's okay. But if they want more information about how to do a jasmine wall vine, I can't tell you all of that in an Instagram post. Yep. So I'm gonna have to tell you to go to the blog, because then there's all the links. So that's where, if you're doing a post on an outfit, don't waste that content, throw it on a blog. Do all the links, maybe talk about your day, tell people what you're struggling with, talk about the outfit if you want, talk about, have stories. And I think that's where people can really feel like they know who you are more than an Instagram post.
Okay. So you graduated from the University of Arizona with a degree in journalism. You told us that you're a photographer. You've been blogging. How does all of this really ladder up to who you are today?
In addition to that, I'm a graphic designer, and I have corporate marketing background.
That's it. That's it.
So I kind of, when I started blogging, I was like, these are all the things that I have been doing my whole life, and my whole long life. But when I was 15 years old, I always wanted to be editor of a magazine. Okay. I was editor of my high school newspaper. I just always loved being kind of editor-in-chief of something. So my blog is my way of being in charge. I mean, I'm really figuring out what content I want to create. So I really love it.
So again, you were an accidental blogger, and now it's full time. What does a week or a month look like for you? Do you have set aside shoot days, days that you write? You obviously have to have some self-care days built into there too. What does that look like?
So it's been 10 years of full-time entrepreneurship between photography, graphic design, and blogging. And depending on the year, one's stronger than the other, but blogging has definitely taken its chunk and most of my time. So Mondays on my calendar, I have a Monday to-do list.
Okay.
And that includes reaching out to brands, writing thank you cards, responding to DMs and comments, blog comments. It is my regular Monday to do. Tuesdays will be my Pinterest SEO days. And so I just dedicate like an hour each day, and I try not to overload. Yep. And then I did have off days, and then sometimes you can't control all those days because life happens. Yeah. And some days you just want to go outside and play. Yeah. So I try to make sure that I don't overbook myself, or if I do certain things that are in the morning and then at night, that's my creative juices are at night.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for joining us today, Diana. We look forward to following you to see more content.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the Find Your Influence channel by clicking on the logo and the notification bell to receive updates on our latest videos.